Alrighty, what is going on today, guys? Evan Aldo here. Welcome back to the live stream. Up in Connecticut right now. Don't have a webcam at the moment, so we're gonna do this a little bit rogue. And yeah, first thing, let's just get into kind of some analysis here to start out on Bitcoin. I mean, look, bear div, money flow coming out. You know what this typically means on the 30-minute doesn't, or excuse me, a 3-day. Doesn't look like that VWAP is, going to come up. Probably not anytime soon to bring us potentially higher here. The thing people have been, Tom Crown posted a little while ago, and I've been talking about it too, obviously, as you guys have been hearing me talk about it in Discord and all that. Funding rates are absurdly high right now, which does make it likely that you would see more of a long squeeze to kind of clean up the market. To clean up the market, maybe a retest of, we know there's a lot of liquidations, probably right just under 40K, 39K. That would make a lot of sense to come back to some of these areas potentially and kind of clean up the market. Now, daily also looks kind of concerning with the money flow coming out. And not exactly a bearish div, but still money flow coming out. That pattern is definitely not the most bullish of patterns. Trigger wave kind of forming a reverse head and shoulder thing in those momentum waves. That'd be maybe more the bullish case if you can get that trigger wave in the 16-hour, the 12-hour. That would definitely be more of the bullish case. Money flow not looking extremely good on the 8-hour right here. Now, short term, I do think that I posted a setup, potentially that has a good shot of winning probably in the Discord, and I do think that you could see some momentum, back upward, maybe 42.5 up $500. Hourly bull div printing, nice jump off of this point of control right here, and your lower time frames do look relatively bullish. So, this is one of those areas where, double bottom as well. Likelihood is that you potentially can, break up a little bit. Let's see here, a little bit higher, maybe up to that wick. I just want to see if we could, kind of do a something of that nature. That is a terrible risk-reward ratio, but I mean, you could. Yeah, it's kind of a tough, tough area to really see, because your technical target would be. I mean, we could be a little bit more lenient with this technical target, take profits up higher. You go to that wick, that kind of area. Yeah, I mean, there's something right there. There's absolutely something right there. Now, that's where you could get a nice one-on-one, something of that nature, up to 42.4, up to 42.5. That area right there, I think that trade's got a decent shot. I think it's got kind of a decent shot here. So we'll have to see what happened. We'll have to see what ends up happening here. So yeah, it was up spin B. You guys, let me know what you guys think in the chat. Don't be shy in the chat. And let's look at ETH a little bit as well. So the thing with ETH right now, and let's just look at this quickly. The thing that I've been looking at for a while is, your 3-day does have a bull div that's going to confirm in 5 hours. I do think there's a decent shot. Weekly confirm the LX. That could be kind of a bottom signal potentially. Here, a local bottom signal, then you made a lower low. Maybe, if we look at the 4-year cycle where we bottomed out here, about 4 years later, end of 2023, end of 2019, I do think there's a good shot. You could have bottomed out with Ethereum. The last wick down, big kind of jump up, nice bottom against Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens though, and I do think even if this market does correct back to, I don't know, who knows for Bitcoin, 30K, 37K, 34K, wherever it may be, I do think Ethereum could hold up very well. I do think that. A lot of people on Twitter are saying Ethereum's dead. All the same spiel we've heard, for a while. Look, they say it every time some other altcoins start to do well against Ethereum, or when Bitcoin outperforms. It's not always going to be Solana going to the moon, guys. It's not always Ethereum's going to eventually start to outperform it. I'm not saying long term. I mean, who the hell knows? But it's not always going to be Solana being the dominant thing. We've seen what Solana can and cannot do. We've seen that. Cardano, some blood diamonds forming. Definitely looking like we could break down a bit farther, maybe down to these levels. The low 50s is kind of what I'm looking for here. Maybe even farther if we do break down farther. I don't want to get really crazy though, but we'll see. We definitely got to see what happens in this market. Funding fees are atrocious, and to really get those funding fees healthy, usually you do have to come down significantly, but we'll see. We definitely got to see. Now, just like Bitcoin, your hourly forming that potential, kind of bull div. Same thing here, I think, on Ethereum a bit. You know, some trigger waves kind of starting to form. Some things, are showing us that we potentially could see, a jump here. We've already seen a decent jump. Bull div on the hourly. We've seen a lot of stuff. And yeah, I mean, getting back up to some of these areas, maybe. Maybe. And ultimately, what, excuse me, 3-day would be still macro kind of bullish case, I would say. Macro bullish case in 3-day. Money flow coming up, view up, still trying to kind of come up here. But your daily is where it gets a bit more concerning. I mean, you're still just generally range bound within this area, up, down, you know what I mean? But I would kind of guess, if I had to say here, I would kind of guess that you probably would break down at some point and get down to around 2,000 while Bitcoin, gets down to around 39, 40K. So that's what I kind of think could happen here. Now, it could take some time. We're still in probably going to be in a relatively low, trading volume area until the new year, I would say. Kind of the economy shuts down during this week a little bit. So yeah, Cardano making that jump up a little bit. Now I want to look at, I was looking at the NASDAQ versus, M2 money supply. I don't know what's going to happen here, but this would be interesting if we could get up to these highs again of the kind of .com bubble versus M2. That'd be pretty wild. But definitely want to look at Solana. That one's been, interesting. Getting a bounce kind of off of this area, off of 101. If we lose that area, that you're looking at 100. If we lose 100, that's probably, there ain't much until 75. I'm not saying you're going to 75. I'm just saying there isn't much if you lose 100. Money flow is still decent on the 2-day, the 3-day. Are we forming any trigger waves anywhere? That trigger wave in the 3-hour could be more of the bull case. So we'll have to see what happens here. 43K would not surprise me at all. Yeah, it would not surprise me. Let's see here. Coinbase down slightly, follows Bitcoin very freaking closely. That's a big point, though. This is a point to come down a little bit, at least, maybe retest. Maybe that 150 is like 40K for Bitcoin, you know what I mean? 10% drop down, maybe. Maybe something like that. And by the way, guys, if you're interested in the Discord, posted some good trade setups. If you guys are interested, a link down below. First link down below. Also, if you're interested in trading this, check out FAIRDESK. Would show you some trades in them right now, but it would be unfair to the people in Discord because has not been outcome for some of them yet. So if you guys are interested, check that out. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like we've lost a lot of structure too. I mean, you have a weekly bear div as well on ETH. You don't have that in Bitcoin, but you do have that in ETH. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we do need to like kind of clean out the market a little bit more. That's my opinion. Now let's look at crypto funding rates. I just want to show you guys the crypto funding rates. They're atrocious right now. Atrocious for longs. They're pretty good if you're trying to short. Just very, very outrageously high. Like every exchange is paying you quite a bit, except OKX. Every exchange is paying you quite a bit to go short right now. Should you go short? Probably swing short would make the most sense. Probably swing short would make the most sense. Now, I did post some setups in Discord. I'm going to show you a few that I've been kind of looking at the moment. I think 2,200 for ETH is going to be a good place in terms of a stop loss. Nice 1-to-1 right there. Could be something like that. You have to wait a little bit for it to play out. That's what I've been looking at there. Similar trade for, Bitcoin right here. I do, like I said, I do think we could pump up a little bit more. I do think we could come out back up to, 43, high 42s or something. Maybe even 43.5. I mean, obviously anything could happen, but after that, I kind of surmised that we would kind of go down. CRV. We could look at CRV. Haven't looked at that in a minute. Let's take a look. CRV 3-day chart. If you have coming up, money flow generally coming up. It looks pretty good. 3-day looks good for a lot of things right now, though, and the 2-day looks pretty good. This does look decent. I don't know much about CRV, to be completely honest with you, but it does look. I would think you'd eventually probably double, get it back up to these areas. These are pretty big areas. I do think you'll eventually get back up to. Now, when would you get back up there? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of coins that haven't popped too much, man. I mean, MEXC kind of held up well. I kind of like how this one looks, still. That was my weekly DCA yesterday, one of them. MEXC, I think, is going to do well. I mean, Atom didn't pop too much compared to some other things. I mean, the main things that really popped were AVAX, Solana. I mean, Helium popped too, but yeah, I mean, these don't. Looks pretty good on the 3-day here for Atom. So we'll definitely have to see. I mean, if Bitcoin and ETH do generally still stay sideways here, then we could see some more altcoins pop. So yeah, maybe we'll keep popping until sometime in January for the alts. Then we'll kind of see a correction. Then see what happens. So yeah. Couple stocks been looking at. PayPal. Kind of like watching paint dry, but I think this will eventually come back, see a jump up. Monthly about to confirm that bull div here. I think it's going to be a good year for PayPal. Moderna is another one I've looked at. mRNA. That had a big correction, kind of a bubble pop pattern. Yellow X's. I do think that Moderna, I mean, let's be real, probably going to come back. Moderna's probably going to come back. You probably get back up to these points at some point for Moderna. That's my guess here. So yeah, just kind of straight down for 2 years or more, and then yeah. Robinhood, I think we'll eventually get to $16, $18. Kind of a time-based capitulation there, Wyckoff type thing, and then bam. What's up, B Baker? That jump right there. Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it a little bit. I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, you're in an uptrend. You're still in an uptrend. Yeah, you would say. Definitely broke some structure, but you're still in an uptrend. Bull div kind of coming up there. Is Hex dead? Probably, honestly. People are still into it. There's certain people who are still into it. I think there's too many to choose from there. Will it do something over the next 2 years? Probably. Is it dead? Probably. I mean, will it ever come back to all-time highs? Probably not. If all-time highs are at 40-something cents, too. Yeah, Richard's in Moscow, from what I've heard. I don't know. But I wouldn't mess with Hex. S&P 500, if I had to guess here, I think probably you're going to get to all-time highs at least here. There are a little bit of concerns like on the 2-day, some of these time frames here, but I do think that you're gonna come up a bit more. I believe the SEC probably is still after Richard for obvious reasons. Waiting for a dip. DCA. There's only like a few people that, in terms of influencers, that are still really, shilling Hex. It's not many people, man. Solana jump right there, yeah. I feel like to just go long right now is just so, because the funding fees are outrageous. It's just, I don't know. Probably could get back up to 110. I mean, he could come back up. I don't know. Anything could happen. Waiting for 12K. Any chance we go back down there? I doubt it. It's more of a DCA type game. I mean, it's 12K. I think that's pretty unlikely. Low to mid to low 30s. That's where you kind of that gets more likely. High 30s, I think is very likely. It could generally kind of go up for the next 2 years. So yeah, but I mean, we came up to this point not too far off of all-time highs, really. I guess you could argue. And retail is still generally asleep, but all the people trading are going degenerate. So what does that mean? I mean, I think it means for the next 2 years will be probably pretty good, but for the short term, for the traders, probably not the best. But we'll see. There. Yeah, so I would say if you can break above where we are right now, probably gonna come up to 42, that area, yeah. Where price is sticking. Kind of reverse head and shoulders that broke downward. Probably right, B. Baker. Probably. You're probably right. Yeah. Probably will seem pretty cheap. California, no, I'm not in California. I am in Connecticut. Pretty big difference. Not so much, I don't know. Weather is probably a lot better in California right now. But yeah, double bottom, that type of thing. You probably could get up a little bit higher here. Probably could. And that was a liquidation, and then yeah. $139 would be the next big place if we could jump up higher. In terms of that, weekly looks like you could potentially, daily even, daily to weekly looks like you could. Once you get below that, it's less likely. Kind of trigger waves and stuff, coming up. that could bring you back up, especially I think the 3 hour, right? Yeah, that's to be seen. I mean, it's still forming. If you do break above here, yeah, you're looking at 110 is your next big area, 110, 111. So yeah, we were looking at Matic. Let's see. Matic looks like one of the best right now, honestly. This one could keep going. I mean, especially based on like, I like the 3 day kind of, the daily, some of these, you know. Here to there, 120. I think you'll eventually get there. It's held up well. I mean, has this really, it came down a little bit, but yeah. I like Matic. ETH money flowing into Sol. Yeah, yeah. I mean, sell your ETH for cheaper to me. Great. INJ, that's the one that's like went crazy, right? Yeah, I mean this, you got a bear div there. Money flow's still decent. It doesn't concern me too much, but here is what really freaking concerns me. This is why I think this could be a good short finally. Can you short this on, what exchange can you trade this on? Because this might be, so you're looking at here to there, and then that's a 101 right there. That could be a decent trade based on that 3 day. Confirms at 4 hours. Yeah, that, because yeah, I mean, anything could happen, but I do think that likely this would come down farther. I mean, December is a big turning point. You do have the tax season sell-off. A lot of people are in a good amount of profit right now. I mean, you could see some sales. What else? I wanted to look at. This was another one that I haven't looked at in a minute. Zill. Not too familiar with what this does, but it's one with a good kind of bubble pop pattern. Money flow coming up right there. You know, looks like you'll generally stay good on the macro. That was a good top signal kind of right there, but I think we could be at an area kind of like this, you know, June of 2020, where maybe some consolidation, then a nice jump up. So if we're over here, I mean, maybe even if you could get half of that, you know, you just get 6,500. That'd be a nice jump up to like 15 cents. I think you could potentially get there. I mean, 500% or something. I like how that looks. I assume ETH is still, throughout all this, I assume ETH is still doing well against Bitcoin too. Like, I assume that, and it is generally, yeah, I assume that it'll continue. Like, if I were to go long right now, probably ETH. I mean, Bitcoin, it's the same thing, really. They follow, but, you know, I kind of feel like ETH. ETH is the spot buy right now, I think. You know, ETH is really the spot buy, in my opinion. I want to look at Bitcoin dominance is always worth looking at. Probably still coming down, kind of, yeah. Does look like you'd have some relief based on that 2 hour. It's just a 2 hour though. The weekly bear div, you know, that's a decent sign. Monthly is very similar to this top over here. Back in late 2019, where are we right now? Late 2023. So that 4 year cycle kind of repeats. I think. And fair div. We just need that money flow to start coming down to really seal the deal here on the 2 week. So we're getting there. Definitely getting there, in my opinion. Almost 7, yeah, that area. Could jump higher. 110, I'm looking at. Let's see. I've not looked at AVAX. Straight up to that area. I mean, your next kind of big place is going to be, I mean, you hit exactly the place I've been targeting. I mean, you've hit that place. 3-day, not awful. Money flow kind of starting to come down, but I think the daily is the main. Yeah, that's a bear div. I mean, daily and above with a bear div with money flow coming out, like that ain't ideal, guys. You know what I mean? That's not like your bullish kind of thing. To that area could kind of make sense. Right there, yeah, that wick, that area, that setup I kind of like. Similar to what I'm looking at, like Cardano, yeah. ETH is always going to be around, I think. ETH is always going to be relevant, at least for the next 20 years, I would say. Probably Cardano as well, slightly less likely. I mean, probably Chainlink, probably Avalanche, probably Polkadot as well. Probably HVAR as well. I mean, if I had to guess, that's where it gets riskier. But probably even VeChain. I mean, there's probably like a good, probably Binance coin, probably CRO. Other than that, harder to say. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, didn't quite make it into the green. Now you're back in the red. I think you're eventually going to go higher with this. Will you keep 10 cents here? I don't know, but I think you're eventually going to go out to 15, 16 at some point within the next 6 months, 6 to 12 months. As of right now, I would kind of factor it in like Bitcoin, trigger wave. I think you can see more of a correction here potentially. I mean, I feel like the only way you're really going to clean up these funding rates and clean up this market is coming down to like sub 2K for ETH and sub 40K for Bitcoin. That's just the way the market works. When would that happen? I mean, it could be early next year. We could see more range-bound action for the next few days or something. It is a more sideways market that we'll probably see. We could see January as a more of a sideways month even, because we had a lot of excitement. And then after a lot of excitement, what happens? Things tend to get a little bit more boring. Now, for ETH, right, or actually, excuse me, for Bitcoin right now, we'll do the same kind of, from this range, where are we looking at next? 40, these areas, that area is going to be pretty significant, I think. Price is kind of sticking to that point. Just want to, yeah, right there, I'd say. Around that way, yeah. Yeah, because you got that Wix and you got that type of crap, yeah. I think that's a significant point that's probably worth going, marking, I guess. Price likes to stick to that point. So that could be 42.6. I see a reality with, I mean, there's certain people that say like Cardano is kind of America's crypto, and I do think it kind of is. I would kind of classify it as that. I think, I think there's a lot of FUD with ETH right now. I think ETH is going to start to, like, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see ETH start to outperform Bitcoin, see a bottom against Bitcoin. Could be wrong, I don't know, but I think ETH will see a bottom against Bitcoin pretty soon if it hasn't already. I think it probably has already. I think we'll see more strength from like the ETH NFTs too. We saw, I think we'll see the mutants and the ape, the Yuga Labs stuff start to gain more momentum as well. This looks good too. ApeCoin looks pretty good. This all obviously follows the the apes to a certain extent, the NFTs. Although I believe the NFTs are up a little bit more, but this does look pretty good on the 3-day and the 2-day. A lot of things look pretty good in those time frames, but I do think you can see more upward momentum. I think you're probably at least going to get back up to $3 at, you know, at some point. Just trying to look at like where we could. I mean, you got to look there, 260. What's up, NBF? I mean, isn't like MicroStrategy still not even a profitable company or whatever? And I mean, still not even all-time highs. That'd be interesting too if we could get like 100K Bitcoin. I wonder where this would go. Let's just look at if we were to break up from, you know, this general area. You're looking at like, yeah, like 20. Would that be where this would go if Bitcoin went to 300%? Maybe. Bitcoin low hundreds, it would make sense. It's in a nice uptrend since 02. I'm just curious, like if you were to get in around here, maybe up a nice 12x, 30x for the all-time high. Very volatile. Still only a $9 billion market cap, MicroStrategy. I mean, theoretically, it would have more room to grow than Bitcoin. Gold and silver, pretty boring. I think they'll eventually break upward though. Could take time. 24 bucks an ounce. It's a slow mover. 200 for ETH right now. The thing with ETH, or yeah, the thing with ETH was, are we not seeing? Ooh, we were seeing blood diamonds pop up. Weren't we seeing blood diamond? Where were we seeing? We were seeing some. Was that on ETH? Or no, Cardano, I believe we were seeing blood diamonds. Cardano, we were seeing blood diamonds, but yeah. Yeah, Cardano, we still are. I mean, I would, my guess is you would break downward eventually here, but you could still see more of a jump where we are, from where we are. So yeah. Excuse me. And by the way, guys, if you're interested in the Discord where me, Lenacor, KMac, and CBZ post trade setups and all that, check it out. Link down below. If you guys are interested, check that out. Really good community. Best community out there, if I do say so myself. And if you want to trade, FAIRDESK, MEXC, Zoomex, links down below, promos and details down below, all exclusive to my link only. Check it out. Especially the $100 bonus with FAIRDESK. Near I like. I do like Near. At least how it looks on the macro. Obviously hitting a big place. You got this big pocket right here. Still looks like you have room on the macro. Now this could take months to play out, but still looks like you may see more upward momentum, more upward potential. I mean, what you're forming in the lower time frame, real low time frames, is kind of reverse head and shoulder type thing, maybe breaking up here. But I do like kind of the monthly. I do like the 2 week. I do like a lot of these things, so I do think it will do well. Continue to generally do well. What was the other one I was gonna? Zcash, I think, could kind of do well. Is riskier, but I think it can do well. How's the euro doing? Could the euro have bottomed against the dollar? Maybe. That was the October 22 low, yeah. An uptrend for the last year, which kind of makes sense. Good dollar right there. Yeah, how's the DXY right now? I don't know if that particularly looks good. I don't like the monthly, yeah. Kind of think that would generally keep going down. What do you guys think? Anyone think we're going to keep going up, keep going down? Any ideas? I mean, it is going to be, in general, a little bit harder to predict on a week like this. You know, trading volume is going to be lower. Funding fees are, geez, as high as I've seen them probably ever. Nah, not ever, but, you know, pretty much every time they've been this freaking high. They do level out unless everybody just closes their longs out of fear, but that's not usually what happens. Usually greed gets the best of you. You keep it in. Right there. This is our first point. I would say that's kind of significant. Second point is going to be up here. 42.7 about. Break above where we are right now, you're going up to 47. Break above there. 43.4, 43.5. XRP. The weirdest crypto. Let's look at XRP. That 3-day on most things looks pretty strong. I think on the macro it still looks pretty good. I like the 2-day too. That's a nice trigger on the 2-day. You might be able to pump back up to those levels. XRP looks decent. We'll see if that could confirm on the 2-day though. 4 hours to confirm. Probably will. I don't know. XRP is a tough one. It doesn't move like that much, you know what I mean? It's not like that much of a crazy mover in general. The area we're at now is somewhat significant, I would say. But well, no, it is a big mover, but you know, it's a weird freaking one. I don't know. Macro, I think it still looks good. I think you're gonna get something out of this. Solana looks heavy. That means it's gonna drop. I mean, Solana is pretty overheated. I mean, for obvious reasons. Came down to this point. Now we're going to jump. So, I mean, obviously the question is, do we jump back up to the highs or do we kind of roll over here? And I mean, there's some trigger waves forming to the downside. Macro analysis would kind of tell you that we got to come down more, or at least the higher time frames, like the daily a little bit. We'll see. Funding rates would tell you that we should come down more. So, yeah. Just want to look at this without market cipher for a minute. Just looking at plain price action. I mean, hitting that area, double bottom type thing, that could have, yeah. Let's turn everything off. Just look at price on Heikenashi's. Still is somewhat of a bullish formation, you know. I'll get ETH on there. Yeah, it's still somewhat of a bullish formation, but yeah. Don't know. On the FEMEX phone app. I haven't used FEMEX on the phone app, so it's hard for me to really answer that. I usually do most of my trades on the computer. SKL, that's what it is. Haven't heard of this. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a nice bubble pop. Macro looks like it'll probably do well, yeah. Probably eventually we'll get back up to 10 cents or more. 18 cents after that. 30 cents after that. 50 cents after that. 70 cents after that. I want to look at Starlink. Coming down a bit. Big point some of these are hitting. See what happens here. Yeah, mobile is a little bit too, I feel like it allows you to trade more on impulse rather than strategy. Render hitting a big point. Money flow is still decent on that 3-day. This actually looks not bad. Yeah, this looks like more like continuation potentially. Now, where would you continue to? Oh man, maybe 540. Not too. After that, yeah, you fix 6. I don't know. It doesn't look that bad though. This looks better. Do you think this may continue a bit? Oh, I gotta look at Bonk. That's really dumped. Let's look at it on a thing that has some data here. MEXC, okay, yeah. Yeah, it was the top right there. And then I kind of think you'll test, yeah, you kind of got that jump off of that area. I mean, I just want to see what... There's a 64% down to that area. I don't know. Thing with the Solana phone, though, is that, it becomes worth less and less as this dumps. Because I don't know what the amount of Bonk is worth. I think the highest it was worth was probably like $700 worth that you got. Now it's probably worth like $350. So yeah. Yeah, I mean trading on Christmas that's always going to be a little. Yeah, we've been talking about this jumped up. I've been predicting this would jump up. This has been yeah. This has done well. What's the jump here? Yeah, good 14%. Nice. I think this will generally do well. Will this outperform like something like Crypto.com, Coin, Chronos for next 2 years? Probably not, but pretty good in the macro. Pretty good in the macro. Breaking upward. I think you're eventually gonna. I mean, this would be a crazy freaking target, but yeah. Next bull run high, 8 something. Next 2 years, next year, I don't know, maybe even 1,000. Nothing too crazy, 200%. Maybe more, though. Some Taylor Wood. Good point, good point. Trigger whip to the downside in Bitcoin. We'll see what happens here. AVAC was one that was looking a little bit more bearish, I think. Yeah. Especially on that 3-day. Or no, that was a 2-day. What was it? Forget. Daily bear div. Yeah, it was the daily bear div with the money flow starting to come down. That's where it was looking a little concerning. Back up to kind of that area. So a drop down further would not surprise me. I think that would be decently likely. Kind of rhymes. So yeah. Yeah. TRB. I want to look at ARB. Look at ARB, man. I'm not looking at TR. No TRB. Joking. ARB. Yeah. Drop down into the box. Don't know. I think you'll eventually get back up to all-time highs, though. I think that's a likelihood. One target was up here, 240. You may have a little bit of gas left. There are some concerns here. You may get that 2-day with money flow coming out, bear div, which could end the fun for a bit. Let's look at fetch, sure. I have not looked at it yet today. That's a big point. 89 cents. Not exactly a bear div quite yet on the 2-day. Bear div almost forming on the 3-day though. I do think you can come up a little bit higher for fetch here. I think you might be able to. Maybe just a little bit. That area. Then we got to reevaluate. I would guess that area, and then maybe that's where you see the bear div on the 3-day bringing you down. So yeah. But yeah, appreciate you guys. If you guys want to check out the Discord, a link down below. Really great community. You guys ask us questions. We've got a lot of good analysts, a lot of great people in there, a lot of great trades. I do some, group kind of sessions and stuff. So yeah, and check that out. Also, FAIRDESK, we do just with my link a $100 giveaway to one person every week. You guys have a good shot of winning that, so check it out. Link down below. We announce a winner in the Discord every week. So check that out. YLD. Let's take a look. WLD. I thought this was around longer than. Am I looking at? Trying to find a. All right, I guess it hasn't been around that long. I don't know. It's tough to say, man. It just hasn't been around that long. I mean, if you do get more bear divs and stuff, it looks like it could come down farther, but yeah, I don't know, it's a little tough to say. You get up to $5 potentially, but we gotta see here. Sounds like a meme token wild. Speaking of meme tokens, what was the correction for this? 86, and then yeah. The daily is not promising there. Yeah, I don't know if this looks the best. I'll look at Doge. Yeah, the fact you're coming back in the red is definitely not the best sign. I still think on the macro, the weekly is decent, though. Blood diamond there. I don't know if that's... Especially the funding rates. Like, I feel like that blood diamond's probably going to play out, like I mentioned on Cardano. That wick... Oh, yeah, that's a significant place we're hitting. Because that wick right there, and then... We're probably starting to kind of lose it, right? Yeah, we're retesting it, but we'll see. If we can break above it, that's good, but I don't know if we will. Yeah. A big place. Opinion on Sol. So yeah, we've been talking about it a lot throughout this stream. I mean, it's back up to, you know, that area. I think it might hit 108, 110. After that, I think you could potentially go down farther. A little tough to say. Your 2-day and 3-day are not awful. There are some signs of continuation. You're still in an uptrend. Your 3-day could give you a trigger wave. If that does happen, then I think you may be able to come up some more. But funding rates are atrocious. You know, your hourly is coming into the red here. I generally kind of think you'd come back down to retest high 90s, low hundreds. So yeah, similar to how I think you'd come back down for Bitcoin to, you know, retest 40K, 39K, and ETH for 2K. So I would kind of guess 10% drop for ETH. I think that is decently likely. Now, when would that happen? It could take time. It could absolutely take some time, guys. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up right now. We looked at a lot of stuff today. If you guys are interested in Discord, first link down below. A lot of people really enjoyed it. Enjoy it. And if you guys are interested in trading, if you want to trade, check out FAIRDESK, check out Zoomex, check out MEXC, all great exchanges down below. MEXC, 0 limit fees at my link. Also, we're doing a trading competition. Check it out. Zoomex, we got some spots left for the first 100 people that get the $20 bonus. In FAIRDESK, we give away the $100 every single week to one person who deposits any amount and trades on there. Really good promo. So check all of that out, guys. Really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys had an amazing holiday, and I will probably see you guys tomorrow.